Okay, so today is about looking at your business on this 90-day perspective, reflecting back 90 days. So what I'm going to do, we're going to reflect, plan, execute. That's the basis of what we're doing today, right? Reflect, plan, execute. So I know you guys probably get tired of me talking about the sales funnel, but I'm going to talk about it from a different perspective today. What I want to talk about is from a perspective of, I want you to look at this sales funnel and look at it, where you're doing well and where you need to improve, because I think it may make better sense. We all know it, we've talked about it, but now I'm going to ask you to do it a little bit differently today. I'm going to ask you to look at the activities, from simply wearing your nameplate or wearing some apparel to doing a buyer seminar. It only exists to get leads, right? Now I'm going to ask you to ask yourself a different question about the activities. If you're assessing for the 90-day process and looking back on the quarter, I want you to ask yourself, are you doing enough activities and are you doing the right activities? Now, if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm doing enough activities, but I'm still not getting leads, then you got to ask yourself, I'm doing the right activities to get leads. You can also look at this and say, okay, hey, the activities that you're choosing the past 90 days, when you do the assessment, what results is really happening? That's another thing you got to ask yourself in this 90-day process. This is the whole reflection process, right? When you look at leads, let's say you're saying, yes, I'm doing the right activities. I'm doing enough activities because I am getting leads. Then let's look at this funnel a little bit differently. What are you doing with the leads? Once you get them, are they bona fide real leads? Am I tracking where I'm getting these leads from? If it's a big well of leads, do I know that is really working for me? Is this right here? I got a well of open house leads. I got a well of singing at Taco Cabana leads. I got a well of all these different leads I'm getting. Am I tracking and knowing where the leads are coming from? If that is the case. If you're not getting leads, we got to go back to the activities. What are you doing frequently enough? Are you following up? We could assess that. Maybe you're doing the activities, but maybe your follow-up protocol sucks. And that could be another conversation that we could start talking about the systems as you go into next quarter. How do we adjust the follow-up protocols, the follow-up systems, things like that? So I want you to look at this funnel a little bit differently, because we're going to break down some reflection here that makes sense and see if it does do something for you for the next 90 days. All right, let's go with leads. Okay, let's say you're saying, hey, Ben, I'm doing my activities. I'm doing the right activities. I'm getting leads. I'm following up properly, but I can't get them to make an appointment. I can't get the appointment set. Now we got to go back to conversations, Monday and Tuesday role playing that we do. Are we doing the right amount of dangling the carrot in front of people and talking in a space of what's in it for them to sit down with you? What is your unique value proposition in order to get people to make the appointment? Are you speaking in the terms of what's in it for them to set the appointment? So if you look at this funnel a little bit differently, you start to say, for the next 90 days, how do I train properly in order to do that? It could be that you're getting leads. It could be that you're doing the right activities, but you're having a problem to set an appointment. So we could look at that process as well. Let's say, hey, Ben, I'm doing the right activities, enough activities. I'm getting the leads. I got bona fide lead sources. Everything's good. I have set the appointments, right? I have set the appointment. Now it comes to the point of conducting the appointment, and that hasn't been successful for me. I'm supposed to be having 2 to 3 appointments based on my goals. I'm having 2 or 3 appointments per week, but I'm not getting any buyer rep signed, and I'm not getting any list agreement signed. Again, that comes back to, what are you going to do about that? Is it when you start to make your 90-day plan and you start to sit there and say, okay, yeah, I've had 2 or 3 appointments per week the last couple of weeks, but no one signed the agreement with me. Role playing, conversations, scripts, things like that. You got to put that into your plan for the next 90 days to say, hey, these are the things I need to change. I got to get better at, right? So now let's say, okay, hey, look, I'm having the correct activities. I'm getting leads. I'm setting the appointments. I'm conducting appointments. And I'm getting buyer rep signed. I'm getting list agreement signed. Let's say you're saying all that because you're getting clients. But now I'm not getting nobody to escrow. They're not going under contract. That could be a couple different things. That could be the showing process, what you have with a buyer. Are you using some tool form or a scoring sheet about each home that you're doing? Are you having a conversation about location, house, and budget? Are they understanding that those are the big three and you're only going to get two of the big three? Are you doing those things right in that process to get them under contract? If that's not happening, all right. Hey, I've been running around with this buyer for months, but we haven't got them under contract. We got to go back and look at some things on that to see how we can get you better at that process. On the listing side, it could be multiple things. Are you pricing the house right? Or is it whatever you're doing on that? Are you exposing it right? Are you making enough content for it? Things of that nature to get it under contract. All right. Now, when you look at the funnel again, let's say you're doing all those things. You're getting under contract, right? Now, at this point, if you're doing all those things, you're getting under contract. There's certain things in our control once under contract. We do know that. But there's certain things that's not under our control that may take it out of contract. And we got to understand what those things look like. But if you're looking at the sales funnel, the way it's supposed to be looked at for reflection, it will help you find the holes in your business. You can say, I need to train, get better, or choose to outsource this particular task to someone else because it has to get done. So as you escalate in your business, let's say you get to the business, I'm not sure really anybody's at that point. Maybe Gus might be at that point and Rob, but I don't think nobody else in the company is probably at the point where they're like, okay, I got to hire an assistant. I got to do these things. Most of these things right now, you guys can all do because you're probably not having the appointments like at a high level, like maybe Rob and Gus. We got to speak reality. A lot of this stuff, when you look at it, you're going to come back to the point like, hey, I need to understand it. I need to know how to check down on that. I need to know how to do this. And it will be one day where you're conducting 10, 15 appointments a week, and you got to outsource some of this stuff to scale your business because it's not going to be the highest, best use of time. So when we look at the sales funnel now, I want you to start reflecting, start looking at the sales funnel. You guys all got this sales funnel. Look at it a little bit differently on your 90-day reflection. Are you really doing the things you're supposed to be doing on the sales funnel? When you close a deal in your sales funnel, is this person that you just closed with being your number one lead source? You got to ask yourself that question. As we do this reflection for 90 days, look, I just closed 5 or 6 deals this past quarter. Is these folks really placed in a position where they're my highest and best referral source? And if you're not doing that, what I'm going to ask you to do is, how do you put them in that category? How do you put them in that position to make sure that they're being your number one lead source so that everything works the way it's supposed to? This is the funnel that we work. Past client, sphere of influence, everything like that. How much does it cost you for a past client to give you a referral? Probably $0. So we want to have that sales funnel work for us as we do this 90-day cycle and reflection. Does that make sense? All right. I need you to really take this sales funnel and break it down in that category as you start to do your 90-day reflection. This is really important. This breakdown of the sales funnel it has to go with what we're going to do here in the next couple of minutes. All right, so let's go to the actual document that we want to look at for today. I think I got it here. Let's look at this, folks. 90 days. We're coming up on 90 days at the end of this month and this quarter. This is going to be your time to really kind of really reflect what went right and what went wrong, and then make a plan, go through the execution and make some adjustments. First, what did you plan for 25 actual closings? You got to know what those numbers are. I give the example. Let's say your goal was to close 20 closings. Now you're going to have to do your own math. I'm not going to do everybody's math, right? Let's say your goal was 20 closings. To make it really simple, if you was planning on doing 20 closings, That would be a breakdown of 5 closings per quarter. 4 times 5 is 20, right? Okay. So you got to do some type of math with that. So everybody out there, you got this document. You probably need to start doing some math and trying to figure that out. Now, once you get that, you have this example here. He says for the first quarter, let's say you only closed 2 closings in the first quarter. If you only closed 2 closings in the first quarter, you were short 3 closings for the quarter. Everybody with me? We got to be real with ourselves. We got to sit there and say, I'm short. If you're on track, great. If you're ahead of schedule, even better. But if you're not where you want to be, I don't want you to think, oh God, it's catastrophic. That's not what we want. We just need to figure out what adjustments need to be made to still hit your goals. Because the great thing about this business, probably great and bad, this is a numbers game. All right, this is a numbers business. If you know your numbers, you can plan, adjust, double down, triple down, whatever that may be, to get back on track for your goals. And that's what this is really about. So if you sit there and look at this example, if you see what I'm talking about, the first thing you do, you got to do that. You got to say, okay, look, I've only got 3 closings of the 5 I got for this particular quarter, right? If that's the case, you got to assess what's in the pipeline. What deals you have escrow right now? What's in escrow? What's under contract right now? You take that in consideration and you say, okay, they're not closing this quarter, but I do have them pipeline. That's great. Count them in your numbers, of course, but you also got to count and sit there and say, if they don't close for whatever reason, you still need to hit your 20. So you can still develop a plan to hit your 20 by the end of this year. So in this case, you look at your pipeline, you assess it. You need to hit 18 more closings for the end of the year. Now we just revamp this whole process. We take 18 closings and do the numbers for 18 closings in 9 months. So now you got to adjust your numbers on your weekly basis of what you're trying to do for appointments and everything like that. And you have to start to adjust these numbers to hit what you want to hit to make sure you still get your 18 closings if that was your goal. So everybody, you got to really assess that. I know some of your numbers, a lot of you guys was between 20, 25 or 20, 24, something like that you wanted to do. We had some people that was trying to do 30, some trying to do 40 and stuff like that. Whatever you're trying to do is your goal, but you got to do a reality check first and reflect on where you at. I don't think that people do that enough because they'll get to running and then all of a sudden they look up and like, okay, man, I'm really just off what I was trying to do. And they get discouraged. But I don't want you to get discouraged. I want you to get to the point where, okay, let's acknowledge it, embrace it, and let's adjust our numbers. Make sense? So you got to make sure that your work must change, and it's got to be intentional change. You got to see what's really about. So you got to start asking yourself, these are the types of questions you got to ask yourself. How many reach outs are you doing per week? Are you tracking the reach outs? That's the first thing you got to look at. Answer those questions honestly to yourself. You got to sit there and say, how many real estate conversations am I having per week? How many in the past quarter? And are you tracking the conversations? How many bona fide leads did you obtain in the last quarter? Really write this down. How many bona fide leads did you obtain in the last quarter? How many appointments did you make? And then how many appointments did you conduct? Ask yourself, be totally brutally honest with yourself about this. How many buyer rep agreements did you get signed in the last quarter? And how many list agreements did you get signed in the last quarters? These are questions that I want you to take time to assess and do. And I'm going to go through the class and we're going to continue on, but these are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Now, once you do that, what I want you to start to do is say, okay, hey, what's been going good? What's the good stuff? Find the good stuff. This is going to be different for everybody, but I want you to try and find the top 10 things in the last 90 days that's been good in your real estate business. And what I'm seeing right there, I'm just giving you examples of what I just throwing it out there. Examples would be, hey, open houses has gotten me my most bona fide leads. If that's the case, we need to identify that because we want to go down that well a little bit more. found an effective coaching plan or whatever's going on. It resonates with me. If that's the case, and it's getting you fired up, it's getting you to a place where, you know, when you get around this one person or you're having conversations and you're learning and doing things that's going to better you as a real estate professional or better your life, how do you figure out how you get more of it? That's a good thing. You're going to find out about the things that are going so good. You're going to find out I got over here about somebody, hey, not so good. I shouldn't be hanging around with them so much, because the negative talk is taking me away from my goals. You're going to see that coming down the path there, right? So you're going to do that both ways, because now you're going to try and see if we can double up with this person or that group, and you start to see if we can do a little bit more, right? Example being, for the people that has been doing this for a while, this example here went from one closed transaction in Q1, 2 to 4 closed transactions in Q1 2025, and probably identifying what was the biggest thing you can identify that was good about what, and maybe just say, hey, by simply placing higher goals in front of my face and going after it and doing the work and taking more action just by going after more goals, a higher goal, that the results was that I went from 150K in GCI, 150K in a sales value, excuse me, not GCI. I wish that was great. That'd be awesome. 150K in sales volume, because you closed one deal last year in Q1 2024. You closed one deal, right? It was 150,000. So your sales volume was 150,000, right? And then this quarter, you closed 4 deals. You got 600K in sales value. And now you've taken your total GCI from $4,500. And now this quarter, you got $18,000. I think you need to highlight things like that and know that you've done something good. You should compare Q1 last year to Q1 this year. You should compare Q2 from last year to Q2 this year, and challenge yourself to have some progression that is going to put a little feather in your cap. Okay, yeah, we did do something a little bit more, right? I didn't do so well last year. I killed it during Q1. What happened this quarter? This is about having your business really dialed in and making sure that you know what's going on with your business. You need to make that assessment, right? Another example, hey, I added a transaction coordinator, which we did that for the company. That's a big thing there, right? Probably now allows me a little bit more engagement with my clients, so I don't have to do all this paperwork. That could be one of those things, say, hey, that's great. If you're doing it the right way in this company, you're passing that through, that cost to your client, and it's not costing you anything. That's a beautiful thing, all right? Some of y'all still trying to pay for it. I don't agree with it, but some of y'all just utilizing it and pass it through your client. It's a beautiful thing to have the client pay for your transaction coordinator and you still closing deals. All right, that's a great thing. Could be I'm attending Wild Wednesdays. I'm attending training. I'm attending accountability groups. I'm doing training this quarter. I'm paying more attention in the training now than last year. Last year, I wasn't really paying attention, but this year I'm a little bit more dialed in. This is great, right? Maybe you're doing time blocking activities or something like that, that you're saying, hey, now compared to last year, I didn't time block. I didn't get out the house and go to the office and really do my prospecting, but this year I'm doing that. Or it's opposite. Hey, I haven't time blocked. You're going to start talking about something that you need to do, all right? What else here? I think got a couple more things down here. Hey, you're being a little bit more intentional about working your referral business compared to last year. You're generating more referrals this year. Maybe you're evaluating your lead source. This lead source here is giving me some type of return on my investment. I'm spending $1,500 a month on Zillow leads, but my return right now, I'm making $8 grand a month off Zillow. Okay, maybe that's something, right? Another example here, content creation has begun to create engagement for my business and change my brand. We talk about content creation. We talking about social media. We're talking about all these different things to change your image, change your brand to your sphere of influence. Maybe that's starting to create more engagement, because these are things that as we move forward, these things are good. These are the things that you want to put in the next 90 days to continue to do. All right. I think you should be putting some things here that you're saying, hey, this is the stuff that's working good. And these are things I'm going to take to the next quarter that I really think is going to be great for my business. That's what you want to do there. Number 3, what are the things that's not going so good? All right. Let's identify them. What's the things that's not going so good? I'm not doing enough reach outs. I'm not doing enough activities. Why? Let's ask why. Is that a confidence thing? Is that a lazy thing? What's stopping you from doing this stuff? We're going to start. How do we get over that? How do we be honest with ourselves? When you start doing the reflection, start doing this. Let's be honest with 100%. Don't lie to yourself. Hey, I'm not so good at starting conversations. That could be something. Heck, my conversations suck. And once I get in the conversation, I'm not having great conversations, right? I didn't attend enough events. I'm always like, oh, I don't want to go here. Never went door knocking the last 90 days. And I said I was going to go door knocking for sales leads. Maybe I'm not getting up on time. I want to start my day by X time, but somehow I'm just not getting up on time the way I want to. I'm full-time real estate agent. I got all this time. I can make my schedule. I can do everything I want, but I'm still saying I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. I'm going to go to the gym and be in the office by 9. Somehow I'm not working out. I'm not doing this. The next thing I know, I'm not getting up until 10 or 11. Maybe that might be something we need to look at. Follow-up systems and protocols or whatever, or needs to be tweaked. Probably everybody in here probably needs to work on that. That's always an issue with everybody. Being consistent, accountability, being consistent with lead generation, right? We should be spending 2 to 3 hours per day doing lead gen. Are you really doing that? Are you really trying to do lead generation 2 to 3 hours per day? Or your open houses. Maybe the open houses just wasn't your thing, right? You said, okay, open house lead gen was not like I thought it was going to be, only produced 6 solid leads, and all the open houses I did, and it's just not my jam. Maybe open houses don't work for me. I make too many excuses not to reach out, all right, not to take action. Lead source X has been horrible. I bought this lead source and they wanted me to pay $1,000 up front to get leads, and then $99 a month. They send me all these leads and they're just garbage. Maybe that's something you need to take away. I need to get rid of that, right? You've got to start looking at things like that. Maybe this shiny penny in the box just wasn't good. Start looking at those things. Now let's start putting stages on paper about, hey, look, these are things I need to improve, whatever those things may be. What I wanted to do in this session for everybody here, whoever's on, looking at this from a kind of a top-down, 30,000 foot look inside your business. At this point, what is resonating with you? What's good? What the things you want to keep going? And what is things you want to take away? All right. So this is the interactive portion of the session. The interactive portion of the session where you on La La Land and you in this room, PDA, public display of accountability here. We go show some PDA. I want a bunch of PDA here, public display accountability, and start talking. So I'm going to change the screen here just for a second. I highly doubt it. Nobody wants to show their face. For the folks that we do have on here, talk to us. Talk to us. Carla, Amanda, Rebecca, Marty, talk to us.
I feel like this week I've been a little slow. So I'm being honest with myself. I have not done my activities like I should. But I'm sitting in open house right now, so hopefully I get people.
Anything else that resonates with you up to this point in the training?
Just to stay consistent.
Okay, stay consistent. Anybody else?
Hey, Ben, can you hear me?
We can.
I'm walking into my son's school because I have a meeting, so I have literally a minute. But what resonated with me is accountability. I think it's really easy for us, or maybe for me, to allow life to become the excuses. So I think today was a good reminder to refocus and accept accountability.
Okay, anybody else?
I go next. I guess I'm sticking to my plan. We continue doing the open houses, having those conversations. What we are entertaining is marketing as well. And I'm trying to work with the pre-foreclosures and vacant. I'm trying to come out with strategy that is going to make sense. I don't want to spend money on something that is not going to give me a return of investments. That's one thing that I know right now I'm testing to see if it works. It's too soon for me to know if it's working or not.
So you're taking some of the pre-foreclosure list information
And vacant. Yes,
and
I'm
make-
working actually. I'm creating. Not everybody is gonna be a target. I'm assessing the parameters that I have to work with and the ratios that come with it to come out with a strategy. That way I can implement that moving forward every month.
Okay. That's so critical to really make sure you're identifying it in this process, because every 90 days we got to do just that. All right. I'm gonna go in the room. What's jumping off your head right now?
For myself to do what I need to do, get rid of things. I've been trying so much cold calling, I haven't heard any results. Get rid of it. Focus on
Okay. This is good. You got to do this every 90 days. If that's not really working for you, let's get into something that's going to really work. Sometimes we can spend a lot of time and energy, and before you know it, you're like, oh man, a year's gone by and I've tried this one thing and it's just not working. But you got to assess it, right? And it could be, hey, it could be something, hey, maybe you need more training. Maybe your cold calling is just sucks. And that's being real with yourself. If a business said, okay, I suck at this, but I need it, either a train or I outsource. Don't know. Don't know any answer to that, to your business, right? Ms. Gabby, what you thinking?
I think that this quarter has been really good for me because of moving and absorbing everything that I've been able to absorb. I'm really hoping that the next quarter I can see the results of all of the farming I'm doing right now. Like I said before, I have other businesses. It's been a little difficult to remove myself from there and allow my husband to take over the other business so that I can focus on placing myself as the realtor in front of all of the lead sources that I have and just all of the people that know me. I need to remove myself from the other side and place myself as the realtor so that they can start seeing me that way. And that's what I've been trying to do this whole quarter. We've been attending a lot of networking events, and now he is the other business and I am the realtor. So now I get to talk to people about that, and they start seeing me as somebody that they can refer to other people, and vice versa, that I can refer them as contractors, as people that have to do with the building and real estate industry, just has to do with the entertainment industry.
Okay.
So that's taken me a little bit. But as far as activities, I'm full of activities the whole week, and it's been from day to night. I'm just trying to be really consistent with all of that so that they see my face, so that they are always aware that I am there and the person that they can count on for those needs. I don't want to call it a struggle, because it hasn't been, but that's the transition that I've been trying to make this whole quarter. Hopefully the next quarter I can see a little more of the appointment setting and the referrals and all of the things that I'm hoping that I was able to establish this quarter.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, pass the mic down to Brenda. So when you was listening to this, what were you thinking? What was you thinking in terms of your business, what you're doing well, what things are not going so well, and what's jumping off in your head saying, hey, this is the adjustments I probably need to make. What's going on? I guess you can speak in Spanish, and then I can
I'll translate.
translate.
To be honest, I think I have been exposing myself out there, like talking to a lot of people. Most of the time I was coming here and then go home, stay with my kids. So right now I feel more comfortable because I'm being here on the training. So I think I feel
More confidence. Okay,
yeah.
great.
So now I start talking to more people, and right now I feel motivated to start doing open houses, which I don't like, and go door knocking and to get clients.
Okay. Okay. Now, I want to say to your defense, though, like you've had closings this quarter, and I've seen the progression of what you're doing.
It's because I have one client.
You say you have one client, great, right? You have one client that's continuously coming to you, and you're closing deals. Let's look at this for a second. We have people in the office that can't say that, right? So that's a good thing. Now, in the process of this is not going to always just one client. You're not going to, for the rest of your career, just one client's just going to be the person that's just going to close every deal with. It's giving you this space or this freedom to breathe a little bit and close deals while still building another pipeline and working on other business, that's a blessing. Let's take that as a opportunity. But you're right, you got to start getting some more clients and get some other things going. But you still have that one client that's been back to back.
I think I can do better than that.
Right.
It's just that my self-confidence is not, what do I say?
Let's talk about confidence for a second. Confidence is one of those things that doesn't happen naturally for everybody, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to practice it though.
Sometimes I feel like I'm not really prepared. Remember I told you I want to send some letters to the foreclosures, but what if they ask me question like, what are my options, and I'm gonna be able to respond to them? So I don't know. I guess that's what I'm afraid, that they're gonna ask me something and I'm gonna be like.
And it's okay sometimes to think like that, but before you even do the actual event or task, and you're already thinking like that, there's where the fundamental problem is happening. And we got to help you get out your own way because, and I've seen it so many times, you'll come and ask me a question about a contract and you have everything right. And so I would encourage you to practice more confidence, because many times you come to me, I'm like, yeah, that's good. You're fine. You're okay. So it's in there. It's in there. Thank you for sharing.
And can I say something to Brenda?
You can.
Hey, I think she's doing great because in just the last month that we've been doing the accountability, she's been doing really good. She shows up, she's asking questions. And actually, Brenda, that's motivating and it's inspiring to me. I was just saying that in the last month that we have been in this accountability group, Brenda has been showing up. She's been asking questions. She comes in when she's getting ready to go to appointments, or she's like asking us questions, and she's moving. And to me, Brenda, that's motivating and it inspires me. I hope you heard it.
She heard it and she smiled. You put a smile on her face today. We don't get smiles from Brenda too often, but she got a smile on her face today. She cheesing from ear to ear right now. So thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I think one of the biggest challenges most people have when transitioning or changing careers or when you start something new is that fear that you might not know it all. And we don't need to know it all. You just need to know who to call. And I'm not promoting Ghostbusters, but you just need to acknowledge that this is new for you. You have to have positive thinking and you have to be kind to you. Kind words, it really matters. In every single morning, you have to tell yourself, I can do this. You're not going to know it all. And we can't compare ourselves to the people that have been doing this for 5 years, for 10 years, for 20 years. We will not be at the same level. And it's okay. We are here and we're learning and we're trying. And it's okay to not have the answer. Obviously, yes, go ahead and prepare something. I highly encourage you, you haven't completed or used those videos that Ben has access to, go ahead and do that because many answers will be there. And then you'll have the knowledge. Then you can go out and feel confident. It's very likely that you're ready. You just don't know that. Why? Because you're not exposing yourself. Just remove that stigma that says this is new and I'm the new one. Don't go out saying I'm the new one because that is going to hold you back. Just go out, try it, but always with a positive mind. That's all.
Thank you, Carla. Appreciate it. Thank you. And she mentioned a couple of different things. I think that our company, I'm going to toot our company's horn for a little bit. Everybody has this access to the David Knox training. I think Carla's probably been using it more than anybody. She's probably getting some results probably more than everybody right now because she's been using it. We have this environment here where, we do have accountability. We do have these trainings. We do have the ability that you can call people. You have the ability that people want to help you. And that's just the uniqueness in our company that not every company has, that we should all take advantage of, right? Just by being here today and doing this right here, I'm not sure if people have quarterly business planning sessions and things that we do, but this is going to help you and help you grow, all right? Just keep that in mind and keep on working on the confidence. You're already there. Okay, let's go into number 4. This is where you write down some improvements. If you're saying, hey, I want to double down on this, or I want to keep this, and I want to take this away, this is the time where we put all this stuff together in the assessment. What things you want to improve on, whatever this looks like. Detailed planning of a perfect day. What does my perfect day look like? At least the plan for a perfect day. Not knowing if you're going to execute it, but at least you know what a perfect day will look like for you at this time. And you try and gravitate to that perfect day. If you know that this is where you're trying to grab, in a perfect day, you would want to do X, Y, and Z and get these things accomplished. Can we detail that out for the perfect day? Let's give you an example there. Maybe we start to look at follow-up protocols and systems that we have in play. Do I have a system that says, okay, when I get a buyer lead, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put them in Lofty. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a follow-up. Hey, I'm going to reach out with them by text. Hey, I'm going to send them a video text. I'm going to try and make sure I call them this time. Are you doing those things? Am I willing to go 13 times to reach out to this particular buyer lead in some way, shape, or fashion to see if they really want to transact, or they're going to say, hey, leave me the hell alone. Don't ever call me again. Unscribe me. Okay. Those are the two things you're going to go for. Either you're going to transact, or maybe you're not, or maybe later what this looks like. Are we doing enough to get to that point to have them make that decision? Having some predictability in your schedule, trying to find a solution for outsourced marketing and things of that nature. You could do all these different things, but this is your time on this plan to really put in, hey, what improvements that you really want to see in the next 90 days. And we're not talking about next year. We're talking about in the next 90 days, I want to improve these items and writing them out. Okay, that's where you do that at, right? I gave some more examples there. Hey, I want to improve how I can conduct the appointment. I want to improve how I can make or set an appointment. I want to improve my process once a client is under contract. Do I have a process and system how to get them from under contract to closing? My past client follow-up. Hey, maybe it's not past client. I'm new. Maybe I just want to try and go out and market to my sphere of influence, the people in my personal circle. How do I go out and do that, right? Improve that discipline that we need. And maybe I said, okay, I just want to track. Ben's always talking about, hey, track my numbers. Am I really tracking my numbers? Maybe the next 90 days, I'm truthfully going to track and measure if I'm reaching out the way I'm supposed to. Am I having the conversations? Am I setting the appointments that I'm trying to set? I'm going to track it. I'm going to use all the stuff that this madman and give me and the little charts and all this stuff. So I'm going to really put this on my phone. I'm going to use my Google Drive, and I'm going to put the little tick mark there because I did reach out to somebody. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to try it for this 90 days. Then you go into what you need to eliminate. What is it? The top 3 things you need to eliminate. Hey, I'm watching too much news. Hey, I'm scrolling too much on social media. I need to stop it. Hey, I'm too worried about what others are doing and not what I'm doing. I'm looking left, I'm looking, and I'm not really focusing on me. What are the things we need to take away to align me with my business more? Dial me in to focus on what I need to be doing. Are we taking the time to look at that and seeing the things that we need to get rid of? And we're saying, hey, the next 90 days, I'm going to stop scrolling so much. I'm going to stop watching the news about Trump all day. We're going to start doing some things that's going to be focused and aligned with my goals and get my family where they need to be. Let's worry about that. It says here, you should have the next question figured out. What is your one business outcome for your next quarter? Now, I give the example being, hey, my one business outcome for Q2, to close 6 individual transactions, earn over $42,000 in GCI, and or have a sales volume of 1.4 million, and continue to become the best version of myself while helping my family live the life we deserve. I think you should be able to write something to this magnitude for the next 90 days and say, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. This is the first part of execution, because we're getting to the execution phase. Now, once you do this, how will we execute this? Now, because we got to get back on track and we got to sit there and say, remember, this person was supposed to be closing 20 deals this year. They've only done 2. They're 3 short. So we got 18 more deals to try and do. So now we have to readjust this because I got to close 6 deals this quarter, right? So I'm going to make my numbers out for the 6 deals. And then when you look at it, it's going to sit there and tell you, okay, the next 90 days, if I want to close 6 deals, in the next 90 days, I got to have 30 appointments set, right? I need to set 30 appointments, right? How many conversations I need to have? Multiply that times 16. You got 480 conversations. How the total number of reach outs. You're going to take that, right? Line 4 times 12.5, you're going to get 6,000. Now you calculate, well, there's 12 weeks in the next 90 days, correct? But you're planning on taking a week off to take your family someplace, right? If you plan on working all 12 weeks, then put 12. But if you're planning on working 11 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, you do that number. I'm saying, hey, you probably take a week off. We're going to take these numbers times 11 for 11 weeks. Now we're going to start doing our division for a weekly basis. Your appointment set goal is 3 appointments set, 43 conversations, and reach outs of 545. Right now, we got to go into this. Everybody understands what a reach out is classified as, what is a real estate classified conversation is classified at, and everybody knows what appointment set is, right? But once you get to that point, this is where the work really begins for you to really start to put in this execution phase of revamping your schedule. And how do we meet 3, 43, and 545 per week? So those are your real numbers. Forget about the 6 closings. Totally take that out of your mind for a second, right? And now attach to this process of becoming this person that can set 3 appointments, have 43 conversations, and reaching out about 550 times per week in some various fashion, whatever case may be. If you looked at these numbers for this person at the beginning of the year, those weekly numbers were less, right? Because they had a goal of 20 and they were starting for 52 weeks. We set these 52-week goals, but now these numbers, if you go back and look at this person, now those appointments increase. The conversations has increased. The reach outs have kind of increased. That's okay. We need to make sure we stay on track with our goals, because now that we didn't make the goal for Q1, it causes us to do a little more to still stay on track with the goals. And this is really what's going to really take you to a point where you don't get scared about it. You're like, okay, I can still do this. Just break it down in a 7-day increment of about what we need to be attaching to still hit this mark. And guess what's going to happen at the end of Q2? We do this again and we keep refining this. So there should be more work involved. This is what we're going to do in this room today, is starting to take this and say, okay, how do we get to this point where we can start having more appointments set? What do we need to have more conversations? And what do we need to do in terms of the reach outs? And for you people in La La Land, I want you to start writing this down and come to some point of like, hey, this is what we're going to do. But I want you to really know your numbers. If you're on track, great. If you're off track, let's start to adjust these numbers so we can still hit our goals by the end of 2025. Questions, comments, aha moments, gripes, complaints, rude comments? No? Reality check. Okay. Okay. For La La Land, that's all I got. I will send this out to everybody so they have it. I hope this helps. We will do this again at the end of Q2. Try and help people stay on track for their yearly goals. That's all I got for today. Unless you guys got something for me. Stay.
See you guys Monday. Thank you.
Bye-bye.